Peace, God, I can't call it. Same shit, different toilet. When will the struggle start? Square one, we're back again. I'm about to lose control. What up? Please ease my soul. I'm gonna kick me again. They're burning crucifixes on my lawn again. They wanna hang a nigga like an ornament. It's tormenting. Morning over yesterday, still yawning inside of a tournament. I can't win. Good morning, shotgun blast passed by my head. I'm a man, I tell you. I'm a man, I say. Pushed my daughter and my wife in the closet and slid my son up under the bed. Filled the Smith & Wesson with lead. Looked in the mirror, said, breathe. Now come on, breathe. I'm about to bring 6 Klansmen to their knees. A cold story that my old man told me. If you're wondering why I have so much pent up hostility inside of my soul and the memory still molds me, just take a glimpse into the mind of an OG. Underneath the oak tree in the shade where I hang at. That's the same spot my great grand used to hang at. Peace, God, I can't call it. Same shit, different toilet. When will the struggle start? Square one, we're back again. I'm about to lose control. Please ease my soul. I'm gonna kick me again. What up, P?
Same shit, different toilet. Can't call it long line of alcohol in the fan line. My man gave me work, and I sat up on the strip and got knocked. A long line of homies in the can. Jail is the ship that don't sail, that hold the slaves. And the judge have you asking for bail like it's the wave. That's the wave. Meaning a slave even pays to be caged in, which is motherfucking insane. That's insane. It's like we picking cotton again. 45's a Klansman, shit is rotten again. They gave us AIDS, gave us crack, now they plotting again. That boy ran, so they shot him, then they shot him again. The same shit, make the tissue new. Make it 400 years, let's make the issues new. Why you love a dead black visual? I'm about to grab my gun, shit is critical. The devil is evil and all miserable.
Peace, God, I can't call it. Same shit, different toilet. When will the struggle start? Square one, we're back again. I'm about to lose control. Please ease my soul. I'm gonna kick me again.
This is The Spot with your host, Prophet Pete and DJ Sean Recognize on WEMS Radio.
Yo, what's goody, my G?
Brother, that right there is that real hip-hop. As soon as that beat come on, if it don't give you the ugly face, as soon as that fucking snare hit for the, oh my goodness, feels so good.
Yeah, man. So you already know who it is. It's your boy Prophet Pete from the city that never sleeps, and I got my man with me.
You know, mothers love how I'm a good role model, but daughters love how I blow in the pussy like a Coke bottle. Sean Recognize.
Yeah. Yeah, so what's up, man? Yo, it's hot outside, bro. City, New York opened back up. Phase 1, which telling New Yorkers there was a phase 1 was like telling them there was no phase at all.
Exactly. It was open
no
season.
Phase at all. I was like, what the hell?
You know, motherfuckers don't read past open, city open. Once they see the word open, that's it. It's a wrap.
Yeah, definitely it's a wrap. And it's crazy because, we had all the protests and stuff going on. They saying the corona numbers is going back up. And
14 different states.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they're saying that it's not due to the protesting or whatever because of, the protesting that was going on and, the time frame. Because, you got that 14-day incubation period and all that other stuff. Mm-hmm. But people were protesting way before the George Floyd situation happened because they wanted their states back open. So it could have been from that. But hey, you know what? I don't know. It's just crazy.
Well, you know, there always going to be some. It's going what they say is there's three sides of the story.
Yours, mine, and the truth.
Exactly. So everybody gonna have their reason for the causes. You know what I mean? But what amazes me is just the reaction of some of the people and some of the organizations now. I'm quite sure you caught what caught the NFL's response to this whole thing now. Roger Goodell, well, I hope I'm saying his name right, made his announcement basically like an apology, saying that they were wrong to object to why people were protesting. But what I found interesting is that he didn't one time mention Colin Kaepernick. We riding with him now. We got a job for him. I ain't hear none of that talk yet. So, we got to see we really got to see where their heart's at the end of the day.
Right, because the whole Kaepernick situation, he did it stand for something, and it cost him his NFL career.
Straight up, and all the fans that's riding with him, like me, for the past 4 years, they ain't been watching football, in support of him kneeling and why he was kneeling, and now we here.
Yeah, and it's crazy because just there's a lot of chatter when it comes to what's going on, and a lot of the big Fortune 500 companies are making statements and things like that, but they're very vague, surface type things.
Yeah,
very surface. So you don't really get, oh, we support you. How is their actual support? What is going on? Or what changes within your organization are happening? And you don't hear any of that.
Well, one of the things that a lot of people have been, I ain't gonna say activists because they're not really activists. They're celebrities that's getting behind something, is the 50A, I guess the part of the civil rights law which shields police their disciplinary records from public view. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
So now people like Rihanna and everybody that's for the jail advocacy, I'm sure Rock Nation was involved, Meek Mill, and people like that. So now they're going to get Governor Cuomo. Well, he's already went on Twitter and said that he will sign it into legislation. So I mean, that's one of many things that is going to be done, in response to everything that's been going on. And it's baby steps, but one thing at a time, I suppose.
Yeah, because for what we need, as a nation or the world in general, what we need for action.
The whole world.
Right. It's not going to be something that is, done overnight. Like this is centuries of bad behavior.
Correct.
And you can't say, oh, we're going to just get rid of it tomorrow. Like it's going to take work because, a lot of what's going on today is passed down from generation to generation.
Oh, no question.
You ever seen two kids playing that are of different ethnic backgrounds?
Mm-hmm.
They don't know no different.
That's right.
They're like, you a kid. Hey, let's play. And
you haven't been tainted yet.
Over time, they get taught, no, that person's skin tone or whatever makes them bad. The way the news depicts certain things. There's a lot of things that I've learned, as they say, you want to hide something from a nigga, put it in the book.
Uh-huh.
And, we always get painted as the poor and poverty-stricken, garbage of the cities and of the nation or whatever. But when you sit there's a reason why they have the term trailer park trash. And,
that's definitely a real thing. Most definitely.
And a lot of the people that are in poverty live out of trailer parks, and I can tell you one thing: a lot of them look like.
P got all the people listening in the trailer parks right now, turning off their fucking their connection. Like, fuck him, man. What the fuck he talking about? Fuck him.
I'm just saying, but it's the truth, though.
Yo, if you're in a trailer rocking with WEMS radio, yo, we love you. We just, you know what I'm saying? We're just speaking statistically. Don't take nothing personal. Go ahead, proceed, Big Mike. Go ahead.
Right? Yeah, definitely not personal. I'm just saying, but if you are listening in the trailer park, I hope that what I'm saying right now motivates you to maybe get a double wide trailer and not stay in that single joint. Like, come on, we can really do it. Yeah,
double wide?
Double wide. But it's just crazy because we have so much in the nation that gets covered up in media, where if it wasn't so fine-tuned and edited, because everything they put on there is edited to depict a certain image. If they didn't do that as much, then people would understand. You ever hear, robbery just happened. First thing, and we're conditioned so much, even us as people, we fucking sit there, oh damn, some black guy done this, some Spanish guy, whatever, gang activity. But we don't think about the white gangs that are out there, right? We have gangs, they have mafias, they have organizations that's different. It's the same thing. They just paint the picture a little differently. It's weird. It's sad, weird, and stuff like that. But did you hear that there are people coming forward saying more and more that the officer and George Floyd really knew each other and they got into an altercation over money?
Yeah, well, they say it's somebody that used to work with them at that club where they were, doing security, and that they butted heads a few different times, which leads me to believe that if that's in fact the case, and I ain't trying to amp nothing, and I hope they don't freeze me after this statement, but if they do, let me get the proper pose.
Yeah, you gotta get the proper pose in there.
Bow, like that. All right, so what it is I feel like if he knew him, and they had some type of prior relationship, for lack of a better term, and he went and took the man's life, then that to me signifies murder one.
Right, and I think we spoke about this before. It's crazy how when they went to charge the officer, they started off at third degree.
Yeah,
and it went
at second.
At second. Now that just goes to show you how messed up
the legal system is. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because if that was one of us, we would have started off at one, and we would have had to plead down.
Yeah. To
second or third degree.
Yeah. They're like, oopsie, we meant second degree, not third degree. Oops.
Yeah.
Because it's one of theirs. You know how it goes.
Right, and it's different, but I'm hearing that what they're trying to pass, and a lot of the bills that they're trying to pass, is that they want to hold the officers. The officers are basically going to be held accountable for their actions. Yeah. So no more under that blanket of blue that they usually get covered up with.
Well, that police department out there is going to get completely dismantled and fucked up. They going to dismantle. They're going to take them motherfuckers apart completely and take all the pieces and throw them shits away and start with a whole fucking fresh force. Basically, is what they're trying to say. And then they're talking about defunding them and dismantling them. So right. I guess whatever they put in place is going to be something fresh and new. But I mean, I'm not for. And in this bit, there's this big talk, of course, your boy Trumpito is on Twitter talking about, Democrats want to dismantle the police or defund the police. And, and then next they're going to be defunding your military. And, nobody's talking about the military, Uncle Boy.
Right. Like,
let me not get too spicy. They're going to cut me off. But what I'm saying is, you what I'm saying is, I don't want to get too deep, man. I don't want to get too deep into it.
Yeah, but it's definitely a little bananas. Like, definitely scary, especially when Trump speaks, because he's basically saying, I don't care what y'all want. That's not going to happen. And you know what? So what?
I feel like if it's a, I feel like this. If it, I'm gonna say this much: if it's a department that's had repeated issues, and especially if they're of racial, if they're racial in nature, I think they should be defunded. You feel what I'm saying? And take that money and put it to, you know, the boys club or the girls club or wherever you want to put it into, but just don't give it to them that year, you know, or for 5 years or however long the penalty they decide it needs to be. But I think as far as dismantling police departments, no, I'm not for that. Defunding police departments that have, you know what I'm saying, multiple charges and fuck ups, and, you know, it looks like there's a record and a pattern in with shit, then yeah, defund them by all means. Because why are we giving you money to fucking come and kill us and, you know, do shit unjustly? Why the fuck are we doing that for?
Yeah, and I definitely do believe that, you know, defunding them is a way to say we're not fucking with you like that no more.
That hurts. You tell them motherfucker you're not getting your money, they're gonna be hurt.
Right. And then, you know, then you have the situation dismantling the police department. That right there is just a statement, one of those things that people just put out there. Oh, we need to dismantle a police department or the police force or law enforcement. And it's like, do you know what this world would be like without law enforcement, without law and order?
Huh.
Like,
Mad Max.
like you think we got problems now? Like, there's no one to enforce the laws or keep people in line. People are going to start bugging out. It's going to be Mad Max / The Purge /
Walking Dead,
The Hostel. Just people just doing all types of crazy stuff that actually we're going to have to live inside a fortress because we wouldn't
that's
be
real.
able to live outside. So, you know, at the time that everything that has happened is tragic, we also need to make reasonable demands and really understand that what we're fighting for and what we fight for, if we was to get it, what are some of the consequences behind some of those things?
Yeah.
You know, because we don't want also where they defund it to the point where officers are not getting paid and now they outside robbing people like they did in the 80s and the early 90s.
On some vigilante type shit.
Right. Where they were sitting there and robbing the drug spots and going in stores, sticking stores up. You know, the 7-3 in Brooklyn. That's one of those infamous. They made a documentary on that bad boy. So, you know, they basically putting out hits. They would set up with the drug cartels and bringing in drugs into Brooklyn. So we don't want a reoccurrence of that.
Yeah.
So we definitely got to make sure that we move accordingly. But on a lighter note,
shit's got to be fair. I don't want to hear something funny. The first black NASCAR driver in the world. You familiar with this cat? You know what his name is?
No.
You're never gonna believe this. Be Bubba Wallace.
Bubba Wallace.
Bubba Wallace just drove the Martinsville Speedway in Virginia. I think this just past Wednesday. Driving a car, all black car that said all Black Lives Matter on it. You know, wearing an "I Can't Breathe" T-shirt. And it was the same day that the Confederate flag got banned from the race. So I gotta throw him the motherfucking salute. Bubba Wallace, you know what I mean? Even though I can't believe that that's your fucking name, it's still a brother. First black NASCAR driver who represented on a day that I know he had a few fans at that race like wilding. I know they was wilding. The fuck is this nigga doing?
Right, because
you know?
NASCAR has been predominantly white.
Man, you know?
Well, he's the first black
Boy.
NASCAR driver. So that goes to show you the funding and the money and everything else only go. It doesn't matter how good you are.
He has some fans hot like fish grease, brother. You know it. I wish I could have seen the look on some of the faces.
Don't worry.
To him.
They still gonna have those faces. Then there was something on the news that was a little crazy where they showed some Trump supporters
Uh-huh.
out there on the road. I guess it was like the corner of their property or whatever. And a FedEx driver took a recording of them doing what they were doing. And it was him posing the same way, in the same position the cop was when he was on George Floyd's neck, talking about all lives matter and saying all types of crazy shit. That basically everything that we were out there protesting for and some of the chants that we had, he was saying the opposite of those chants. Like, so what, you can't breathe and all of that shit. And it just so happens that one of them was a FedEx driver, got fired. And the other one was a corrections officer. From the video, that they were able to identify who he was.
Right.
And they didn't fire the correction officer. He's on leave right now. So it's a little shameful, but we're gonna see more and more of this bigotry.
Oh yeah. I was just gonna say that.
It's sad.
Yeah. You're gonna see a whole lot more of this troll shit, this hate shit, because just like there's a lot of positive vibes out there, some people that just gotta counteract that energy with negative energy, and we can't let the negative energy win. We just gotta remain positive and be peaceful in our protests, and do what everybody's talking about doing. Vote when you're supposed to vote, and become active, and make it happen.
Yeah. So we got any hip hop news this week?
Little hip hop news. Everybody is doing this. Everybody's doing the black thing, brother. I mean, that's pretty much anybody that you could think of in hip hop is doing something that involves Black Lives Matter. They invested money. Diddy just started Revolt Black News. You know what I mean? You got who else? I told you last week about all the celebrities donating cash for the protesters that got locked up so that they can get released. Just everybody, man. Everybody's involved in something. Let me see. I got we'll talk about that later. The union president of NYPD. But let me see. Oh man, I even hate to tell this story, but it is relevant and we do have to put it out there. Snitch 9 is still active in the game.
Of course.
He's about to drop a song. Do you know with who?
I don't know exactly. I actually seen like a flyer or like a picture of it, but I don't know who it was, but I did see something.
Well, let me hit you to something, man. First of all, he's on Instagram in a video sitting next to Akon, and they're doing a remix to the song Locked Up.
What?
That's number one, big homie. There's more.
There's more.
There's more.
Convict music.
Yes. Akon's Locked Up. The shit that, what was that, Styles P on the remix?
Styles P on the remix.
Now it's going to be Snitch 9 on the remix.
On a remix.
On remix. This is what we've seen in the clip. It's not etched in stone, but everybody is speculating on what they saw, and we heard him doing the his little thing or whatever he was doing to the Locked Up shit, and Akon visually giving him the go, the green light. And anyway, it hurts just to say it, but anyway, the other artist that he's doing the new song with, Trolls, appropriately named, is Nicki Minaj. I'm not surprised, because at this moment in time, her fire is not as hot as it used to be. Let's just say it like that. I don't want the barbs on my ass.
Right.
Pause. And she needs like she needs something to
she needs to
make her more. Yeah, exactly. She needs something to be more visual to be out there. She needs a springboard almost. I'm not gonna say a springboard to be relevant again because she is relevant, but she's just not as hot. She fell back, did the family thing, which we all respect. But you gotta have something out there, and she's coming out with another song with Snitch 9, Trolls. It's called Trolls.
Interesting. So it's probably gonna have
video. I think the video was out tomorrow, actually.
Oh.
Yeah, video's already done. You know how that shit go.
Well,
but, they're spreading that bag around.
Well, you think about it, right? It was what, 23 million, the last joint he dropped after he got out of jail. So of course, anybody that's looking to get a little bit of a bag, like you jump on something with him, you're gonna get paid for the feature, or whatever the situation is, right? That YouTube money, right? You're gonna get a couple of racks off that. You're gonna get money off of everything. So it's crazy because it doesn't matter what you've done anymore. It's the bag is more important than anything else. And it's crazy because that breeds a very bad culture. Very bad culture. We're going to have a lot of issues continuing. It's like, well, if we can make money together, then fuck it.
Like everything, you compromise everything. You compromise your integrity. You compromise the fucking love of the craft. You compromise upholding the culture and pushing the culture forward to fucking get a bag. That's not hip hop.
Yeah, that's definitely not hip hop. Definitely.
Shouts out to Akon and Nicki Minaj, though. We don't fuck with Snitch 9 on here. You know what I'm saying? When I Exterminator comes through on a regular, we don't fuck with rats.
Yeah, because that's definitely not one of those situations that we would want to promote. Unfortunately, regardless of what he does, he still ends up being out there, and he still makes it into the news or whatever it is. I don't know how the fuck he does it though. I don't. And I'm surprised he's still walking or breathing for that.
Yeah, you and me both. You and me both, brother.
You know?
What I was saying earlier about the NYPD union president, I can't remember his name. I didn't write it down, but fuck him anyway. He was at a press conference going crazy, screaming and into the cameras and, basically communicating that, the New York officers are good, and that happened in Minnesota or Minneapolis. I'm sorry, wherever that was, and he says, our officers aren't like that. There's no. He says, our badges don't have a smudge on them. They're shiny. They're still shining, or some shit like that. Yeah, I can't remember exactly what he said verbatim, but something to that effect. It was hilarious, when I was just watching. I was thinking to myself, damn. Y'all motherfuckers killed the first dude that said I can't breathe. Yeah, have you forgotten that? Like that was that. I wanted to go. I was like, man, I wish I was in the audience so I could be like, hey man, wasn't Eric Garner? Wasn't that you guys? Didn't you guys do that?
and
wasn't that you? Sean Bell, wasn't that you guys? Wasn't that you guys?
Right, like we've had many situations, and there's situations that haven't made it to the news.
In Brooklyn, wasn't that y'all driving cars into the protesters out there in Brooklyn? Didn't y'all do that?
Right, that was just like the other day. Like this is real shit. Like y'all sitting there attacking people and stuff like that. And it's funny because I seen a clip to a movie, Panthers, which basically is based on the Black Panther movement.
Right.
And it was where they were assembled, peaceful protests, but they all had, shotguns and rifles and stuff like that. Okay. So the cops came, and the cop referred to one of the members of the Black Panther that was holding a shotgun. And he was like, boy, is that gun loaded? And he's like,
that's what you fucked up already.
Right? He's like, pig, I have the right to bear arms and assemble in peaceful protest. And they're like, well, you need to break this up, and this, that, and the third. And they were what was going on was they was attempting to arrest somebody. So they assembled around the police to observe what was going on. And they tell him he had to disperse. And he's like, you don't have to disperse. You need to know your rights. You have the right to observe police activity from a safe distance of a minimum of 8 feet. So they can't tell you to disperse. 8 feet it's your right. It's what you're able to do. So you observe.
It's in the book.
Right. So just because they tell you leave doesn't mean that you gotta leave. And as long as you're not interfering with police activity, you can observe from a safe distance.
And I'll tell you something else you can do. You can film them.
Huh?
You can film them. You can get them on video and
yeah, you can
and take them. You know, you can do that. Don't think that you can't.
Right. They'll tell you you can't do it, or they're gonna try and take your phone or do whatever.
Put the phone down. Yeah, try to snatch your phone, break your phone.
Right. Whatever. It's like, no, you can't do that.
As long as you're not up in their face or, you know, and try what they call interfering with the investigation. As long as you're not doing that, then you're good money. You know, don't be a dickhead about it 3 feet away from somebody laying down and they putting the, you know, the fucking chalk marks around them and you trying to get it on video. Don't be a dickhead.
Right. You know,
but you can't film them. Don't get in the way.
You know, and it was as it continued. So he's like, boy, is that gun loaded? And he cocked that shotgun. He said, it's loaded now. If you endanger my life, it will be used to shoot you, pig. I said, oh, shit. Now, the Black Panthers were very bold and educated at the same time. Now, there's nothing wrong with being aggressive, but be aggressive and educated at the same time.
Yeah, no doubt.
You know, because there was a lot of laws that came about because, you know, the right to bear arms is our constitutional right in the United States of America.
Yes, sir.
And once the Black Panthers actually utilized this right and occupied, it wasn't the White House. It might have been the White House back in the days. And they had the right to bear arms. They were there and they were doing what they were doing. Peaceful protests. Nobody got killed or whatever. Basically, they adjusted that situation because of them. You know, and a lot of things tend to get adjusted after we read them and say, oh, wait, this is all right, too.
We start taking advantage of it. Yeah, you're right.
You know, so we need to understand how society is set up in order to reap the benefits that other ethnic groups tend to take advantage of. You know,
read those laws, people. Know your laws. You know what I'm saying? And black folk, I think black folk just inherently know the damn laws automatically because, you know, we designed to. we know the charges. We know the minimum you're gonna get. We know the maximum you're gonna get. We probably know what jail you're gonna go to before you get, you know what I'm saying, charged and shit. We just know. Black folks know automatically. And then if you don't know, somebody older come and tell you, yo, boy, you don't need to be doing that because such and such and such and such. You know what I'm saying? Or one of the OGs that's been there already.
Yeah. So, like somebody be like, yo, you got caught with the hammer? Yo, how many bullets was in that clip?
Exactly.
yo, you know you looking at.
You know you're looking at like 17, right?
17, right? You're going to get the 7 minimum. Yo, and then what? Yo.
And then what? You had weed on you too? Oh, man.
Then they're like, okay, so you already went to the bookings. So you were Central Bookings downtown. You was in the Tombs, right?
Yeah, man, we know, man.
They might send you to Rikers, but since you're already going to do 17, right? They probably you just going to bypass Rikers, go straight up to Sing Sing, right? You know, it's a 4.5 hour bus ride. So make sure you piss before they leave. You know, like this is what they're going to tell you.
They give you all the details.
All the details.
We know, man. We know, brother. We fucking know. We know that damn law. So everybody just need to get shot with their laws and understand where you are and what you legally can and cannot do. You know what I mean? And try to operate within those boundaries, you know, and stay safe. Please stay safe, my people.
That's what we need to do for sure, because we all know that the laws are lopsided in America. And in New York, we faced a lot of that during the Giuliani era. And then we had the stop and frisk situation that allowed them to target certain groups of people. And, you know, I always bring it back to cocaine and crack. You know, the same drug, but you wasn't finding cocaine in the hood. You would get a slap on the wrist if you got caught with cocaine. At one point, you was getting life in jail if you got caught with crack. And it didn't matter if you was the user or the seller. If you got caught with it, you was going to jail.
It was gone, yeah, no question, man. No questions asked about that.
Right?
And
and
you in possession of it, oh, forget about it.
That's it. It's a wrap.
Right. Okay, how you got it, where you got it. Well, they want to know where you got it, but, you know, they ain't give a fuck. They're still throwing you away.
They knew where you got it from because they put it there. So they're like, okay, that came from this supply. All right. And that was it. You know, I got to say, not for nothing, we wasn't, you know, a lot of us weren't in chemistry or chemists to figure out how to sit there and take some powder, cook it up, warm it up, turn it to some liquid, and take some ice inside of Pyrex. And the reason why we use the Pyrex, because it was thick glass, so with the temperature change, it wouldn't crack. Right. So that shit was taught. Like, it was one of those things that was brought to our attention. It was like, yo, we're gonna show you this, you know, and you can make a lot of money. And
if you was in certain places, shit, you might walk into your man's kitchen one morning and him and his brothers in there, you know what I mean, cutting up cracks. The fuck is that? Next thing you know,
that's it. Hand to hand. Hand to hand. So it's a little crazy. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a quick music break. And when we come back, we're gonna talk a little bit more. Hopefully, we don't have any more bad news going on. But
oh man, I'm gonna tell you about Beyonce getting that Disney money.
Beyonce getting some Disney money?
Man, I'll tell you about that when we come back.
I bet. All right.
If I see that motherfucker, I know it's him. I'm gonna watch that nigga for That's him. That's him. He in there. That nigga eats in there. I guarantee you.
I'm coming for that paper. I'm more than focused now. No time for asking favors. Don't need them hoes around. I'm trying to get it major. Got all the dope in town. King of the block weighers. Rolexes show the crown. Pointers around the bezel. Diamonds is in the dial. I'm thinking of a level. Show them a different style. Say I'm a running rap bull the way you in LV. Just dropped a new LP. You like it, you tell me. Whatever you sell me, you know I'm coming back. 2 days is the latest. You know I'm done with that. The nights and women, the bikes. I'm living the life for living. Be life. You send this nigga, don't fuck around. Don't fuck around. I'm drinking Tito's with Chino at the jeweler. While the burner is blessing my son with something cooler. Something light. I try to be nothing like these new niggas. I chew niggas. You fucking right.
Ain't no back doors or nothing. We saw him go in there.
A couple flights enough to be A1 in height. This motherfucker gotta win again. They can't hold it no more. Pull up like Pinky when they open the door. They thinking that you ain't thinking, but you focus for sure. That different zone like when you wrote to a law. Feel like posing for law. Kill everything like your nose in the raw. Tony Montana, he was going to war. Cameras keep taking pictures. Vegas, we gamble, nigga. Murder for mannerisms. I feel bad. I ain't went to visit my man in prison. Went hand in hand with pictures. Birds like I ran with pigeons. Clean as my grandma kitchen. They say he's crazy, that man don't listen.
Shooter right there.
My youngin' ain't concerned with money, he just wanna kill. My other youngin' in love with
I'm positive. I know that motherfucker anywhere I see him.
He don't do it, his brother will. His brother chill, but got bodies all on his roster. Italian spot, ordering pasta, aim at imposters. You not welcome here, Salir. Give me casa. I'm on the beach in chocolates. Baby, I'm not no sponsor. You never seen money in your life. Mommy don't drink tequila, bet this I'ma get her right. Bombay, Sapphire, she ain't even ask for ice. In the Louis store just grabbing shit, ain't even ask the price. If it's drama, we can handle shit, deliver it like canned guns. You wasn't valid, they fuck with you cause you ain't your manhood. Death row mentality, nigga, I understand, sure. I played the trap, but I wasn't trapped, I got out the damn hood. Long as this paper keep coming in and all my fam good. Still I go
He's gotta be in that motherfucker. Man, let's make the move.
That I actually did it. You ain't with rats, you attracting snitches. I'm getting cash, I'm attracting bitches. Paddocks for leak, might attract the district. Rich and famous, but he actually credited. Shots fired, bullets had you bitching. You love your father and your dad be missing. Headshot, fuck his ass for nigga. Metro card or a bus pass nigga. Aim at his face, knock off his mustache nigga. Yeah, real problems, you don't want that nigga. Knew him for years, I don't trust that nigga. Yeah. Sing it, baby.
I gotta get to Buffalo. They won't pay me. I said, who won't pay you? Well, I'm on the phone. I said, oh, they won't pay me.
This is the Spot with your host, Prophet P and DJ Sean Recognize on WEMS Radio.
Some guy named Lee.
Put more product out on the street. Put more product out on the street. Put more product out on the street.
Fuck your acceptance. I don't need your awards. All I need is a heart. I don't need the applause. I don't need all these fucking gimmicks to sell out a tour. And the only way I settle is settle to score. The top is a target. I travel like Harden. You better be cautious. Said you the hardest. I'm begging your pardon. Come spar with a Spartan. We do not bargain. I'm coming for all this. The road is so heartless. Light to the darkness. Don't know what to call this. Regardless. Yeah, learn to listen more than I speak. Third eye open, still I ain't reached my peak. Man, that's where the myth is. Your future is looking bleak. Chasing all these dreams, I'm starting to feel like me. Product of my city, forever will be a part of me. All my lines from the heart, I hit an artery. If this my last shot, then I'm Jordan with Russell guarding me. Spanish shorty rapping all this dope, but she ain't Cardi B.
Benny. Put more product out on the street.
Yeah. Some guy named Lee.
Put more product out on the street.
What you coming, nigga? What you coming, nigga?
Put more product out on the street.
716.
Yo, more product out on the street.
Besides the money, what we gotta talk for? I wrote about my life in them knock wars. I wrote it out in white like a chalkboard. Made it back listening to Big on the aux cord. I'm licking with the plug playing hardball. Told my bitch I need a new account offshore. You own all your masters, the money all yours. TT3 was a classic, they want a part 4. Straps for the shooters, numbers go in the safe. We down to go to war with the government for this cake. She get a cut cause she let me bubble it at a place. I gave more bitches jobs in the WNBA. Yeah, just check the link in my bio. From LA to Ohio, I'm connected like Files. I quarterback the brick with no spirals. Internet nigga, I make sure your funeral go viral. Let's go.
Out on the street.
Guy named Lee.
Put more product out on the street. Put more product out on the street.
Mob ties with this rap shit. Baby, you ain't a first round pick. I mean a pussy, alright. I gave a first round dick. Made it come 3 times before I put the shit in. I told Lee I need residuals.
I don't want to touch the product. He plugged us in with the butcher. The potency was marvelous. School of hard knocks. My niggas, some ain't cum laude. Graduated from Harvard. Niggas never had fathers, but stuck to the G code like we the fucking authors. Fuck the plug, we on some owner shit. She wanna fuck cause the bent is just a loner, bitch. You want fast cash? Well, good luck, miss. You wanna build, baby? I'm who you fuck with. Yeah, be capping though. I need capital. Spinning crazy when I know I should be stacking dough. Yellow lamb, yeah, all that bitch Zapdos.
Rapidos needed in a hurry. Niggas is never worried. Y'all can see that I'm cooking. Can you pass me the curry? I am from the low, so the flow cold as I flurries. Come between these bars, no doubt you getting buried.
Benny.
Some guy named Lee.
Oh yeah. Big tunes there. Big tunes.
And we are back, y'all. We are back. We are popping. It is the spot. It's almost 7:00. We got a few minutes before we get our guests in, right? The man, 100 grand.
Yeah, man.
Your man Talent.
In the building.
Right? And for those of you that don't know who he is, he's the one that got a lot of funny shit to say. Definitely.
Yeah, I was trying to think about that earlier today. Like, what is he most known for? Like, because there's so many different things that he's done on stage that have fucking had me in tears. I can't just pick out one.
Like, I know.
I know he does that.
Yeah, that
shit.
Yeah, that shit. And then his signature, the way he holds the bottle. So he's always holding the bottle.
Yeah.
And he's sipping from it.
Definitely.
First time I actually seen Talent was on Def Comedy Jam.
Was it?
That was the first time I saw him. So that was like Martin Lawrence time, Def Comedy Jam. And I'm like, I remember that. And it was always, it's just comedy. That's something that he always says.
It's just comedy. That's his I think that's his Instagram.
Yeah, it's just comedy. Yeah.
It's just comedy. Yeah.
And Talent the comedian. Like, he has a few of them. But I think we in store for some shit tonight.
Oh yeah, you know it, man. But yeah, I was telling you about B getting that Disney money. You know, she did that what was it that she just did with them? The Lion King, when they redid that shit.
Yeah.
The film, she did.
She was the voice of Lala. Remember?
Oh, okay. She did vocals for that. I'm sorry. I said she did the music for that, but what she is doing the music for is the fucking Black Panther 2 soundtrack.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? So that's, you already know what kind of money that's gonna bring in. So they already pretty much saying that it's $100 million deal that she's doing with them. So
$100 million.
Just one deal. That's just one deal, bro. That's just a day at the office, you know?
A day in the life. Like, dude.
Nothing. It's nothing.
Like, I'm trying to get a deal for like 100 racks. Like,
you know,
you got 100 million of those racks. Like, what the fuck?
You know, 100 racks is straighten out a bunch of business right now, right? Boy.
I'm telling you, should it be looking a little different for the kid? I'm just saying. You know, I ain't gonna be no fool go out and buy a foreign car or something like that. You know, it's all right.
We got to set up the WEMS Go Fund Me when the time is right.
I'm telling you, WEMS Go Fund Me page. Support real music. We're bringing life back to the industry.
Yes, sir.
Get up that Go Fund Me page so we can start signing artists and cutting those checks and making deals. Good.
And we're going to give you
we're going to be our own judge, jury, and executioner.
I was just going to say, we're going to give you the real commentary. You know what I mean? No frills, no additives, no preservatives. You know what I mean?
And it's like, I might have to tell you, you sure this is what you want to do for a living? Because you might go hungry. You might go hungry. You know? it's one of those things where I think, especially when it comes to the music game and everything else, like you have to, or when you do anything in life, you have to be, one, passionate about it, two, have a purpose, and also have the drive to continue to do it.
It is.
You know, it's real easy to make a song that sounds like somebody else's. That doesn't take creativity. It doesn't take creativity. It's as we were talking earlier, right? The fuck were we saying? Imitation is the
great form flattery.
Right. So it's like a situation like that. Yeah, you can sound like me. You could do this. You could do that. But what happens when they like, yo, we need a different sound, and you don't even know what to do, or you don't know how to, really maneuver on your own? Like there's a lot of music out there that sounds the same, but you should be able to put your own spin on something, regardless of what. A lot of people, you learned your style from some of the greats, so you might have a Biggie type flow,
right?
But we all know you're not Biggie.
No question. At some point, you can't. That's the problem of having a gimmick when you come into the game, because at some point, your gimmick, people are going to get tired of your gimmick, and then you have to really be creative and be an artist. And you know what I mean? That's what the people are gonna gauge you on. Your originality, your ability to reinvent yourself the way that so many people that have longevity do. Like, there's a list too long to name. LL, Busta Rhymes, people like this. They just have that longevity quality about them. Just when you think you ain't never gonna hear nothing from them again, boom, and they come with something else, and they manage to stay relevant over the years.
Yeah, like it's because LL still could spit.
Oh yeah,
LL has a style. Like it's him. So it's not like it doesn't matter what's going on. LL Cool J is hard as hell. Like it just those type of things.
You can't come on a record like that and then forget how to spit, no doubt.
Right. So one of the iconic hip hop battles.
Kumo D and LL.
Huh?
Kumo D and LL. Who
it was after Kumo D. Cannabis?
Yeah, LL and Cannabis.
LL and Cannabis.
Yeah.
That's when battling was like they went in a booth. They came out and it was like, yo, he dropped this new joint. Oh yeah, he came for Cannabis. Then Cannabis would drop some. Oh shit, he came for LL.
Mm-hmm.
Like what was one of those iconic lines? He's like, I take this mic off my arm and it turned it to a time bomb. I was like, oh, like
there was a lot of disrespectful lyrics in both of those songs, man. I kind of enjoyed Cannabis's first round knockout when he had Mike Tyson talking on the hook and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I kind of enjoyed that one. That was kind of witty. The beat was, was a good thing. Wyclef did that beat for him, right? Yeah, so Wyclef got caught up in the beef too. So I'm sure not Mike Tyson. I think LL was probably looking for him too. Like, yeah, Wyclef. He said something about Wyclef in the response. What was it called? Damn, I can hear it in my head, but I can't think of the title. The LL response to that shit. Oh, can I bust? Yeah, can I bust that shit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo, what? Like I miss those, and it's funny because I've been watching a lot of URL stuff, Universal Rap League stuff.
Yeah.
And it's funny because after we had that conversation with Cassidy, and then I go back and I'm looking at some of the things we have. It's very entertaining, and I really truly understand why people watch. Yo, our guest is in the building.
All right, that's what's up.
We're gonna introduce him. And I'm gonna find this applause joint, and here we go.
in the building. One of the New York kings of comedy.
We got talent in the
Talent in the building.
What up? What up?
Yo, what's going on? Yo, you still look the same from like fucking 20 years ago. What's going on? like you're one of those people that you see and you're like, yo, I know that guy.
Yo, just having a good time, man. Enjoying my forced vacation. You know what I mean?
It definitely.
That's all you gotta do. You gotta put a positive on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The positive is we just enjoying a forced vacation, man. Don't look at it too bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Happens to the best of us.
Yeah, because we can't do much. We kind of stuck at home or whatever. And I know that's where the bread and butter is when you out there and you doing your thing and you on stage and you holding that bottle the way that your signature holding the bottle. Like I don't even understand. Like you still hold the bottle the same from forever, bro. Like for real.
Yo, listen, everything is funny how you don't even think about that in real time. Like that comes later as you start to get this quote unquote body of work developing. People, they hump on to whatever that thing is.
Yeah.
So, like you said, the bottle, people hold on to that Heineken bottle. People hold on to, like if I leave this chain tucked in, where that chain at with the, every little thing.
That's
people
wild.
got their own, right? People got their own thing. They be like,
yeah.
So, it is what it is, man. You're happy to remember you anyway,
Straight up. Always.
So, you've been doing this for definitely over 20 years.
Yeah, I'm about a year and a half or year and four. What's this? June? Yeah, a year and a half from being 30 years.
30 years. Right. So it's crazy because the first time I remember seeing you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of coincides with my age and almost you doing it for 30 years. It was on Def Comedy Jam. I was a youngin', and I shouldn't have been awake. I was supposed to be sleeping, and I'm watching you.
You sneaking Def Jam.
Yeah. So it's like you sitting there and you doing your set.
Right.
Like I remembered you never forgot you. It was like one of those things that was like, yo, we're talent.
First of all, check the shirt. You said Def Comedy Jam. You see this? You see how I did the
comedy.
Logo? But it's just Comedy Jam though, with the Def Jam circle joint.
Okay.
Let me tell you how history repeats itself.
Go ahead.
People your age, right? See, I'm 50 and I just turned 50. So people your age behind me sneak in to watch something like Def Comedy Jam is what we did, but it wasn't televised, it was on record. So the Red Fox, the Richard Pryor, the Tommy Browns, like the Lenny Bruce, like all those cats was making it on wax. And the same thing, we would sneak, we knew where the stash was in my grandmother's closet. And we go in there, we get them, we put them on the little record player, and we listening and laughing, hearing all these words we ain't supposed to be hearing yet. I mean,
no doubt.
Fast forward, 30, 40 years, it's the same thing when we come out with the Def Comedy Jam.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yo, it is. It's amazing. Like, and I know that, you've done more than just, stand-up comedy.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. You've been acting and you've put together your own comedy tours and things like that. But what are some of even though you've been doing it for 30 years, everybody runs into obstacles. What do you think is one of the biggest obstacles you've had over the last 30 years?
I don't really see any obstacles. I really haven't experienced any. Now, people that's close to me would probably, I would agree with, sometimes you can be too good for the world. You can be too funny. And being too good at what you do, depending on who you run into in the circles you trying to come up through, that could be a hindrance to you. I'm one of the few comics, like I'm gonna give you one example, is like, I blame everything on comedy though, because everything, even though you branch out and you get radio, you get movies, you get TV, it all spawns from this. It wouldn't be without the foundation of stand-up comedy. However,
you can be too good to a point where I'm one of the very few comedians headlining, international headliner, that will still book people to open up for me who have the potential of having a better show to me at any given night, who gonna make me work for mine.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Most comedians, and that's the problem, because all these young cats that who end up being really good comedians, they will hinder themselves sometimes because their favorite comedians who they want to work with, they will never get a chance to because they're too funny. And that comedian, that headliner, be like, you know, you might give him one shot, and they mess around and show him up one night, and they be like, send him home. Give me a local. And even when they get somebody, either they'll do that or they'll do that sucker stuff that I say that comics do. The headliner call you in the back and tell you what you can and can't do.
Yeah,
Yo,
I heard
don't talk about
shit.
this. Don't talk about this. Don't touch this. Don't touch this. It's sort of like
some sucker shit.
Hire a big time DJ, right? The opening DJ, he get his hands tied sometime too. Like they be like, yo, so and so coming in tonight. He said, don't play this, don't play that, don't, so that he can come and shine off that thing. But to me, if you're really who you're supposed to be, you don't need that.
Yeah.
You don't need that. If I got to tell you what not to do so I'm funny, I'm really not that funny.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Because, you know, people's delivery is different. We could talk about the same thing. And if I'm funny, I'm going to deliver it my way, you're going to deliver it your way. Yeah. Right? We're not sitting there and we're stealing each other's jokes. My jokes are my jokes, your jokes are yours. So we could talk about the same shit. And we can still make people laugh.
Can you imagine playing with like a Jordan or somebody and they be like, yo, they tell the whole team, yo, nobody dunk.
That would be crazy.
Yo, nobody dunk. Only I'm dunking tonight.
Yeah.
You get wide open. You get a wide open dunk. Don't nigga. Don't
you dare.
You'll be on a plane to Detroit.
Yeah.
For real. And that would be crazy. And you know, it's unfortunate that people are so insecure in their craft that they would want to sit there and say, yo, you can't do this, you can't do that, because I need to make sure I'm funny.
But it's not that far-fetched, man, because people, I knock on wood, and thank God that I still got the same lust and drive for stand-up comedy that I had 29 years ago.
Right.
Because a lot of cats, believe it or not, and this is why I don't even hang out with a lot of cats that I started with, for the simple fact that their drive don't match my drive. And I don't want, like, energy rubs off. So these guys, in a sense, you know, in a perfectionist comic sense, you gave up. Like, you're not writing no more. You're not challenging yourself. You don't want to. You don't want to write. You don't want to challenge yourself. You got the set number of jokes you got. You're going to travel the world, do that same thing all the time. And you picking the weaker links to open up for you because you feel like, oh, man, I've been doing this 25, 30 years, man. They don't want to work, but to an extent. Traveling to your city is work. Checking in a hotel, doing radio, it's all part of the game. It's all work, but one thing should not infringe on the other thing. Like, I want the heat in front of me. You see the people that I pick and put in front of me, it's not because they not funny. It's because they have the potential of hitting that gear any given night to make me on the sideline go, damn, okay, T, come out the gate like you 19. Like, I'm coming out like 19. You know, but I want that though, because that's how I got to be as good as I am.
I was just gonna say, because you at one time or another, I'm probably sure you was that young Thundercat that was on the card or the undercard or whatever that came out and blew the fucking audience away, and they was like, oh shit, now what?
Man, I mean, that's how the quiet as kept. That's how me and Tommy Davidson became the best of comedic friends. Is I remember he was probably one of the first guys that of a name and a stature. It was his heyday that I was chose to open for. And the club owner told me, hey, do 25. You know what I mean? You open it for Tommy, you got 25. And we had 5 shows, I think. We had 2 Friday, 2 Saturday, 1 Sunday. And each show, they would chop my time. And I was young and green, so I didn't understand what was going on. I just thought maybe they were falling behind in time or some shit. And it went from 25 to 15. It went from 15 to 10. And shit, but by the end of the weekend, I barely was doing the 10. You know what I mean? And but I understood, you know, I was coming up and trying to come up. I'm really trying to impress the club dude because he the guy got the money and got the dates to keep me working. Yeah. You know, I'm not looking at it like I'm putting too much heat in front of somebody or trying to disrespect you or trying to blow you out the room. In my mind, I can't blow you out the room. You're Tommy Davis.
Yeah.
So anytime I open for somebody with a bigger name than me, I never really looked at it like I could blow them out. I mean, now you fast forward 28, 29 years, I know I can, but as a young buck coming up, I'm not even looking at it like that.
Yeah. And that's I think that's even to identify it and know that happened, and you just trying to do what you do, and usually the people that are great just trying to make sure that they perform well to keep themselves working and busy and putting themselves out there that would be, like, hate is real. Like, it really is. For people looking at you and they're like, yo, you know what? This guy too damn funny. You know what? We're going to give him this 8 minutes. It's not 25.
You know what I do, bro? Especially in this climate we in now. We in a brand new climate in the culture where I don't even look at, especially when it comes to our people, we got to look deeper than the quote unquote, like a broad stroke of, oh, they hating. I don't even think it's hate, man. I think that we've been conditioned in a mindset, period, that I call it the crab in the barrel. You understand what I'm saying? It's two things that we got to jump out of. We got to jump out of microwave days, and we got to get out of the crab in the barrel. Crab in the barrel, we've been conditioned for a very long time, my brother, to think that it ain't enough for all of us. And that's across the board. Comedy, music, corporate, sports, it don't even matter. Across the board, we've been conditioned to think, I got to pull my brother down to get out the barrel, right? That's one thing. The next thing is the younger generation, they worse than us because they've been conditioned to speed, to rush through shit, and they caught up in microwave days. They want to hit 2 minutes on the microwave and eat. Mm-hmm. What happened to the in between? You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Everybody's after the damn bag.
And those two situations, it's someone doesn't want to put in the work. And the person that's watching somebody else put in the work, they sit there and they want to hold them back. And
he just said going after that bag. I hate that expression. You know, I hate young dudes' expression going after the bag because if it fit in the bag, it ain't enough.
There you go. I like that.
You see what I'm saying?
I like that.
And we were just talking on the page about 2 weeks ago, and he's like, everybody want to put it in a bag. He's like, yo, you need a suitcase for the real shit. Like a bag? Like, what's that? Get a suitcase. Usually when you watch mobster movies and all that, or when real people move around, they got the suitcase. That's where they put the $1 million, $2 million.
It's young folks slang, young folk rhetoric.
The young folks that put it in the bag. When you say put it in the bag, you make me think about sunflower seeds, chips, popcorn, and penny candies, and put it in the bag. Come on, man. That means you looking for 1 or 2 stacks. You ain't looking to break the bank. You know what I mean? And if you ain't looking to break the bank, and that again goes back to what I said. I'm very careful about my surroundings because if your mentality ain't where mine's is, like I'm always thinking of the big picture. The person, if an idea come up in the air, I don't care if we collectively made it up, you made it, I made it, whatever. I take it into the brain, and I'm thinking of how big it could be, as opposed to what you just said right now. Yeah, it's a good idea right here, but imagine if. And that's what's missing to me with our young folks. Our young folks, everything's now. Look at these rappers, dude. It's you hard pressed to get a rapper that got more than 2-3 albums.
That's a fact. That's fact.
Hard pressed.
3 singles, and that's it. They got singles out, and Beyonce said it the other day. Well, not the other day, but she probably said it a little while ago. But it's like the artists are not putting out music. They're into this microwave era situation where it's single after single after single. No one's putting out bodies of work. Like your resume in itself, reading through your bio, your EPK, like I was sitting there and I was like, wow, holy crap, holy snap. Like it's just, you're sitting there and you're like, you earned everything that you got and where you are. And it wasn't that it was handed to you. You worked for it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, because we come from an era where all of that, again, that's about looking down the line at the big picture. People today, if you living in microwave days, you thinking now. So you're not building. So people who think now, I'm gonna tell you one of the biggest mistakes that artists make all the time is I see artists sit home more than they go out because they're a stickler of A, how much they want to perform, and B, the things that go along with it. So you got to look at your establishment, which is our economy, promoters and clubs and theaters and all the stuff that you work to make your living. And you got to say to yourself, do I want to put my price where I'm lucky if I go out once a month, or do I want to be gone more than I'm home? You know what I mean? So if your price is $20,000, but in reality, in this economy, you're lucky if you get a cat every month, every other month to come up with that to hire you. So you work every 3 months and make $20,000. My price is $7,000, but I'm out every weekend.
Right.
So I done made $64,000, and in a certain amount of time, you made 20.
That's right.
And you know, I think one of the biggest problems is that their mathematics game is way off. Like they want that lump sum up front, but it's just like if you was any type of business sense, if you're sitting there, I don't need to sell a $20,000 painting. If I sell a $10,000 painting or $5,000 painting, and I sell multiples,
I sell more than you.
Right. It's like I don't want to set my price so high that it's not even attractive anymore.
Yeah, and you got to have the right work ethic. The barbershop's just opened up. We're in phase 2, right? So I got a fresh joint today, right? So I'm in the barbershop. I'm in the barbershop, and the head barber, the dude who cuts my hair,
WEMS Radio.
He owns the barbershop. So he's talking to me from an owner standpoint because one barber's not at work. He ain't been at work for a while. He's on injured reserve. And he said something that's how I know we're the same age and he cut from the same cloth. He was like, yeah, dude ain't here and it costs this amount a week and it add up and this is the rent they got to be paid for the barbershop overall. And he was like, dude want to come back. If you want to come back, give me what you owe and you come back. If not, cool. He like, dude, I'm cool. If you're not here, that just means I cut more hairs. I cut more people's head in here and I make up for that loss. He said, I coast a certain way so that you got work too. But if you're not going to be here, I just stick up my game and work. It's no different than comedy. If you call me to do your comedy club and I'm doing Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 5 shows, and you keep calling me as we getting closer to the weekend, go, T, Friday sold out both shows, maybe you want to add a show. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Saturday sold out 2 shows, want to add another show. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm never going to tell a dude, nah, dude, I'm going to work my butt to the bone. If that means I got to be out later, work another show, sleep a little later, but my bag, I had another bag. No brainer to me. But some people ain't cut from that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel you. You used to do like an annual Father's Day special at Caroline's, right?
Absolutely.
Is that still going? Is that still going on? Or?
Well, they're not open. Here's the problem right now in the phase we in. The problem right now is they're slowly starting to let some of these places open up. So Father's Day is a not even a full 2 weeks away. So you don't have enough time. And part 2 of that is places like comedy clubs, even if they let you open your doors, is at a 40-50% capacity.
Right. Social distancing.
Right. So the numbers are not making sense for the clubs for shows that cost a certain amount of money.
No doubt.
So Father's Day is too close. So I had 3. This year was going to be the biggest Father's Day because we were doing 3 events in 3 different places. We were going to start with a matinee in Brunswick at the Stress Factory at 3. Then I was going to shoot over for 7 at Caroline's, which I normally do. And then at 9-10, come up here to White Plains at the Coliseum. So we had 3 different Father's Day things going for people in 3 different areas.
Mhm.
But of course, now this has ran too close to that.
Right.
And with the capacity thing, we got to nix pretty much a lot of stuff in June going into July. We should be okay. But
Yeah.
the new thing that we're doing that's going to take over the summer is the drive-up comedy. The drive-up comedy's winning right now.
Yeah. Explain that to the people watching and listening.
Well, remember, see, all my people that's over 35, 40, you remember when your grandparents would take you to a drive-in movie theater.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So we took the concept of that, and all we did was put a stage, some place, depending on the size of them. We have the screens up, the stage up, the backdrop, the speaker, and loud sound system. So you're in the comforts of your car. You outside of a food establishment where the wait staff is coming out taking orders at your car, like your car is a table in a restaurant. So they got the drinks and the food, you placing the order and all that good stuff. When you pull in with your car, let's say some of these diners take 50 cars. It's 2 or more in the car. Families are coming. So you got 100 and something people watching the show outside, for one. B, by pulling in with a car, driving up, you automatically social distance.
Yep. Big.
It's winning. It's winning.
And that's exact. And you know that's exactly what it needs to be. It's called innovation, definitely, right?
That's the hustler mentality right there.
Right, it's hustling. And I know that you know Ray DeJean.
Yes, that's who concept it is.
Right, and it's funny because I met Ray not on some radio comedian stuff. I actually used to make T-shirts for Lapaholics for Ray when I had a T-shirt shop in Brooklyn. He was my next door neighbor. I had a tattoo T-shirt shop, and I used to make his shirts for him that he used to take over to Lapaholics. This was like maybe about 2 years ago.
First of all, that shit sound funny as hell. Tattoo T-shirt shop. Like, a nigga make you a T-shirt, you put it on. When you take it off, you got the tattoo.
I'm telling you, yo. I mean, wait, hey, look.
Covering both sides.
You gotta do, man.
Yo, that's crazy. Imagine you make a shirt that when you, like this right here. I take the shirt off. This tattoo on my body.
Well, crazy. And one of the things we used to do actually in the tattoo shop was that the concept was we would have the tattoo artist sketch out the design. We would print the design on the T-shirt of the sketch.
Oh, nice.
And then so you had the tattoo and you had the T-shirt to match the tattoo. It was fucking awesome.
That's exactly
I
what
wish you
you're
were
talking
still
about.
doing it. I could have been getting money with you.
I'm telling you. Well, you know what? It is coming back. It's just where I was in Brooklyn. That building wasn't it wasn't the best. It was over in Brownsville. Yeah, so it wasn't the greatest. I did what I had to do over there, but
what town are you from, brother?
I'm money earning Mount Vernon, bro.
Oh, okay.
I'm right here at the crib, Mount Vernon, born and raised. I've lived a little bit of everywhere, West Coast, East Coast, everything in between, Atlanta, Florida, Jersey. I mean, you know, but I always kept my house here. So, you know, every time that I got done with projects or I didn't need to live in a certain region, always, you know, dip back home and, you know, feed already planted here. So the last 12, 13 years been here, got back into my dogs, raising my pit bulls and my King Corsos and all that shit. So it's 4 in the crib right now.
That's what's up. I asked that question because I know a lot of times when you came on stage, you used to always play that Big or some Jay-Z or something like that. So
Big. I still do.
You know
every time I hit a stage, I pay homage to Big because Big is one of those dudes that grew on me. You know what I mean? Like, people used to big up Big, and when we had those rap discussions of who the best and all that, Big was never originally, through the first album, I couldn't throw him in my top 5. You know what I mean? I just couldn't. Like, your body, we talk about body of work. Like, it was one album, you had a couple of joints on there. It was okay. It was nothing bad about the album. It was a good album, but I'm not throwing you in my top 5. Then Big started doing a lot of saturating the market and force you to listen to them lyrics. I don't care if he jumped on an R&B song. I don't care if he jumped on a West Coast song. And then when he did the double CD, which to me, I got the utmost respect to cats that can put out a double album and that shit is fire beginning to end. That's crazy. So right there alone, Big just jumped in my top 5. And then of course with the murder and everything, I'm like, yo, we can't forget about Big. You understand what I'm saying?
No
You can't
question.
forget about it.
No question. Salute.
Yeah.
What you was gonna say, P Money? I didn't mean to cut you off.
Well, I forgot. I got caught up on the Biggie thing. You know,
baby.
Yeah, you gotta pay homage with that shit, man. But to go back to something we was talking about a minute ago when you said about the whole all the like looking at the package and the bio and the resume and all that, we was so into and aware of building a resume. You didn't know how far in the future. You just knew that somewhere in the future you needed that. It was like, because we treated it, I ain't gonna lie, in comedy, when you're young, I got in, I'm 22, 23. When you're young, the first 4 or 5 years, you can't believe the fun and the places it takes you. Then you go into this, you start getting conscious of the future. Like I said, the big picture. You don't know when and where, but you start treating it like a regular job where, you know, just like any other job interview I go on, my resume and my application is going to be the difference in me getting that job or not.
No question.
So you start to look at it like you were going, when people go looking for a job, you know, black women are the best at this. Women, period. Women make sure they always talking and thinking about their resume. And they walk in job interviews and conferences with the utmost confidence.
Yeah.
Dudes are the worst. They sweating, they nervous because they know their resume's bullshit.
Yeah, no question.
They hoping that you don't see that one thing or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Or call that one fucked up reference. You know what I'm saying? Like dudes should be all like, the dudes who do the best are, you know, people that took classes on that or that got taught that. But if you just going off the strength, this shit gonna be real rinky dink. Women do it off the strength. You don't even have to teach women. Women say they're going on a job interview or some sort of presentation. They don't mind staying up 3 a.m, making that, you know, they'll go in there and self-teach themselves on the computer. First of all, how to line it up right.
Yeah.
You know, just in appearance, you know, they very big on appearances.
Oh yeah.
Then they'll go and make sure they don't leave out important stuff and how to word it and references. You ain't jumping on a woman reference list with that bullshit, son. She making sure she not putting 3 niggas that these motherfucking people call go, yeah, what up?
Yeah.
You calling for Watifa? This is Macy. Yeah, Watifa's, that's my nigga. You ain't gonna get that job.
Yeah. She gonna conveniently leave those off the resume.
Yeah, she know who to put on there, man.
Yeah, and it's crazy, you know, that we you know touch back on that, because especially with the artists today and with us pushing independent artists and interviewing a lot of independent artists, just even asking for a bio or EPK. I've gotten sentences for a bio. Like, I'm like, yo, what is this? Like a sentence, like, yo, what are you doing? And then it's like, oh, I grew up in the hood. I decided to rap, and now I'm here.
Yo, they don't, you gotta understand something, man. I tell young cats all the time, even I'm still telling older cats. At some point, you have to invest in yourself. If you don't invest in yourself, how could you expect somebody else to put $1 up for you? Like, that's the number one thing. Like, I see it all the time. You know, the same thing with you, right? I want somebody on my show or something. Hey, send me some headshots or whatever. You'd be surprised how many dudes just take their phone, go boom, or they're on the bus or boom, or I'm like, yo, it's not a headshot. Why you want to send me something that I got to get somebody to do some more work to? It's not my headshot, dog. I don't need to invest in you. You need to invest in you. Yeah. So what that tells anybody that's ready to hire you or put some money up for you, the first flag that go off to any CEO, any promoter, anybody in charge of anything, any club owner, they're going to look at it like, yo, this dude don't even want to invest in himself. So people don't respect people who don't respect themselves.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
That's a fact, dog.
Yes,
I'm not gonna mention no names, but because I'm in a entrepreneur part of the game as well, I've had guys and people give me budgets and say, put some joint together for me. I go to budget. And I mentioned certain people's name and the promoter be like, hell no. I'm trying to give you a stack, that person. The promoter be like, hell no, I'm gonna give him a bag of weed and $200. He'd be all right. I'm like,
wow.
But this is what you did to yourself. This is how you represented yourself. So that's how they see you. They don't even respect you enough to put you in a real budget. They're like, nah, put it together with other people. I'll handle this guy. I'm gonna give him some weed and $200. And I'm just sitting there like, damn, yo, like that shit would break every heart I got in my body to hear somebody talk about me like that.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. And it's funny because you mentioned the headshots. And as soon as you said it, and you was like, they took their phone, they on the bus and all that. I had an artist send me some joint. He driving in the car, got a seatbelt on. I'm like, what am I supposed to do with that? Like, what am I supposed to do with that? Like, I can't even do nothing with that.
Dude, that's a pet peeve of mine, man. I tell cats all the time, man, you got to look at these things like investment. I remember when I first came up, one of the dope things that happened, shout out to my nigga Kevy Kev. Kevy Kev is an old school comic, been around, came up with JB Smoove and all of them cats right before me. And but what Kev did was, Kev got into photography, right? He loved photography. So somewhere in there, he's thinking big picture. He go, you know what? I'm doing this photography thing for all these people. I'm in this conglomerate of up-and-coming comedians and even comedians that they need this every year. Yeah. Every year, you need to go and get a headshot. So he started soliciting within the crowd. It was about, at that time, we talking 92, 93. You're talking about he got between 500-600 dudes to advertise between, like, yo, come to the crib. You go to the crib, you got the thing, you put the backdrop up, you got the professional camera boom. And it was for that time, it was crazy dope and efficient.
Yeah.
And I'm like, see, that's ingenuity. You know what I mean? But today, these cats feel like, and that's the laziness of microwave days. They feel like because everything's so virtual and so online and so social media, they don't have to do that, man. They can take a screenshot of his own screen and send that shit to you. Dog.
Yo, for real. He didn't want to go into the camera app. Like he just
man, one thing about the New York Kings, man, my brothers, my brethren in that tour, they stay on that. Whenever we go out, man, and start, we do not one, we do 3 photo shoots. 3 different ones, man, to get 3 different looks throughout the seasonal year,
right?
And even like some footage and stuff we can use for advertising and marketing and all that. We make sure we capture all those things because we don't have a problem with investing in ourselves. We never have.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. And we look at it like this: if each shoot costs $1,000, hey man, it's 4 or 5 of us. Chip in, boom, $1,000.
Exactly.
This is us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're not paying $1,000 to help somebody. This helps us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's my advice and pet peeve. I always, like I said, it's still some cats that's old in the game and still don't want to spend $100, $200 on a headshot.
And it's unfortunate, and it's probably cost them a lot of gigs. It probably cost them a lot of situations because the package you present when someone asks you for something definitely does show. It's a reflection of you early on. So it's just like if your resume, if they're looking for certain things and they don't see certain things in it, they're not gonna mess with you. They're not gonna rock with you.
No, I mean, people, they go off of what they see, know, and hear. And it's like you said some, information like Beyonce said, like, you're not building a body of work, you're building singles. So you know what happens to that artist? If I'm promoting a summer jam type of show or I'm promoting an ensemble type of show, you're not even gonna get real minutes on the stage. I want you to come do that single and get off.
Right.
And exactly. I got 3 new joints. We don't hear all that. Play that one banger.
Yeah.
Get this bag.
Get this bag.
And get out of here, man. And then this nigga, he got a goddamn catalog. Brand Nubian coming up after you. They doing an hour and a half.
They're gonna do the whole album.
Hour and a half. You did 3 minutes
on stage.
And that's another thing. A lot of the new artists put out 2-minute tracks. Like it's over before it even started. Like you bob your head, You got the first 16,
Yeah.
and the song is over.
But you gotta understand why they do that. Understand why they do that is two things I understand about that. They're not catering to us who know better, right? They're catering to a generation whose attention span is like that.
Like that, yeah, true that.
Them motherfuckers can't even listen for 3.5 minutes.
Yeah.
That nigga do this shit for a minute. Yo, I'm going to the store. Nigga, I'm still playing it for you.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's fire. It's fire. I didn't even come on yet. I'm the third rapper.
Right.
It's fire though. It's fire.
Tyler, you think there's any similarities between like a comic doing stand-up and a rapper, like say on stage doing freestyle?
Absolutely. It's the same thing. Looking for different results. You're looking for them to hear you. Both people are looking for them to hear you, obviously. But the only difference in comedy, what makes comedy harder than rapping, whether it's freestyle or rehearsed, doesn't even matter. Yeah. We don't have a track to hide behind.
Right.
One thing about singers and rappers, whether your voice is hoarse or you really ain't as good as the recording is, you fronting, or hieroglyphics and all that bullshit, whatever it is, you have a track to hide under or behind. Yeah. With stand-up, is that mic and you. There's nothing in between that shit, dog. When that intro beat drop and you start talking, they on every word, and it better be taking me somewhere or making me laugh or making me think or coming up with this shit. Because other than that, you can hear everything in that room, bro.
For
everything
real.
From fuck out of here. Your mother ain't shit. Bum ass nigga. Boo. Who bought this nigga? All that. You hear all that. That comic can't sleep that night. He tossing and turning. Who bought this nigga? Fuck out of here.
Shit. So what is hey, you know, you've been doing this for a while, but what do you think is like one of those jokes that you drop that is like that's an instant crowd going crazy after you say it?
There's so many of them.
We were talking about this earlier, and I said the same thing you just said. I said
it's so many of them because I was thinking about that, like, because people now, when you get a certain amount of veteranship, you like a dope artist, right? Exactly. So motherfuckers got requests sometimes. So the problem with request is I'll be honest with you. The problem with request is motherfuckers have the luxury of video, and the shit is in the can. So we always say in the can. So you home watching, you pull up Def Jam and see a bit you love, and then you come to the Carolines, yo, do the shit with the. That shit was 25 years ago. So the problem with your request is I don't remember the shit. I remember the gist of the joke, but do I remember the cadence and timing?
Right.
How perfect it was when you seen it.
Right.
9 times out of 10, absolutely not. If it goes past, I have a threshold of maybe a 6-7 year threshold that if the shit goes too far back than that, I'm gonna have a problem where I may have to go watch the shit my damn self.
Right.
And say, oh yeah, I said that. Oh yeah. But to me, to answer your question, if I gotta go to a go-to, what I usually do is time means everything. So every bit has time. So some bits are hilarious, but it might be a 5-minute bit.
Right.
This other bit might be hilarious. It might be a 2-minute bit.
Yeah.
And everything in between, right?
Yeah.
Or it might be one-liners that I got that ping and zing.
Yeah.
Depending on the situation and what it calls for, I'm pulling that out.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like getting in a gunfight.
That's the freestyle.
In the gunfight, it's 10 niggas outside your building. You getting the shit.
Yeah.
One day you might grab the 380.
Yeah.
22, you might sneak the 22 on that nigga, and while you mid conversation, no fuck my nigga. You get a firecracker go off, but this nigga leaking. So you grab the guns that go according to the battle. So depending on my situation, I run through my head and go boom. So like right now, perfect example. We on quarantine and lockdown and all this. So I'm doing a lot of virtual shows like we are now.
No question.
And because you take away the crowd element, it's more so you playing in your brain. The crowd's in here now. So I gotta be able to deliver and I know it's funny. I got to know it's funny. I can't wait to see if it's funny and look on Zoom and see if you. I know it's funny, so I got to do it right. So what I did was I go and I'll grab about a good 10, 15 minute worth of stuff from the archives that will convey straight verbally.
Okay.
That I can say that I know it's funny to you. That I don't have to really do too much acting out because it's just me and the camera.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. I made some shit up while we're in quarantine, the first 3-4 minutes, and then the rest, the 11 minutes, is bits I know that work for this.
Right.
Which are stories, a couple of stories. So you're not gonna really do the same energetic physical stuff because I have this parameter to work with.
Right.
You know what I mean? When I'm doing the show. So I can't pick a one go-to when I'm in the situation. I'm one of those dudes. I'm a natural, right? I do natural stand-up. I don't write a set down and say this is the set. I go up there, I feel it. First of all, I'm on time all the time, so I can read the room. I don't care if I'm headlining.
I've seen you do it many times.
I'm gonna read the room. I'm gonna go to the bar. Everybody know. I'm gonna be at the bar, sipping my drink, just taking it all in, seeing what they laughing at, what they ain't laughing at. Is it a rough crowd? Because a lot of times, see, when I started, I always say these new comics, if you started comedy in the last 10 years, you a lucky son of a bitch because it's all set up for you.
Yeah.
We started when it wasn't set up for us.
Yeah.
If you was a black comic coming up in the 90s, you was in places, half the places you was in, they didn't even know they was getting comedy.
Right.
So half of them was pissed off at you. then the promoter everybody was new to it, so the promoter didn't know the best way to put you up. So sometimes you got the worst thing to do is you got motherfuckers partying already after work function. Then you stop, DJ stop. Okay, all right, we're gonna stop partying. We got a comedian. They hate that nigga already.
Before he opened his mouth.
Every dude on the dance floor was rubbing on a fat ass, making his move, and you went, all right, so this guy want to tell some jokes. I hate you already. I didn't even see you yet. I don't even know if you're funny. You're an asshole. You're an asshole for coming on right now.
Yeah, straight up. Straight up. You're 100% right. I feel you.
You know what I mean? It's like a fireman bust in the club and spray the hose. Ain't no fire.
Yeah.
Everybody hate that fireman.
Yeah.
And we love firemen. But right now, you spray niggas up. Dude, I was about to hit this.
Yeah. We trying to party. No he come with the hat on.
So like that right there is everything. So if you came up just now, you should be kissing the ring of everybody that opened the door and put this thing in order so that you have a perfect situation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I remember a time when I first started, it was still rough to the point where the comedy clubs barely was letting blacks up. Like, back then it was like if a comedy club had a black dude, if I got there at 8:30 and the other black comic got there at 8:20, I'm too late. We already got a black guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
I was gonna ask you that question. Do you think that like even before pre-pandemic, everything that's going on right now, do you believe that old adage that it's only room for one black comic to be large at any one given time, or you think it's room for everybody?
It's again, I go back to what I said about that crab in the barrel shit. That's what they want you to believe. They want us to believe because we will act accordingly. As long as they got us fighting over crumbs, thinking that only one at a time, they win it.
Right.
We talk about systematic. When they say systemic racism and systematic racism, this is what we're talking about as well. Yeah. It's like I got a system in place, got you thinking and following my system. As long as I got that, I could pick and choose who I'm gonna make that guy.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, don't get me wrong. It's always going to be a game of, and this just got to do with audience and artists. It's always going to be a game and a challenge of everybody kind of finding their lanes.
Right.
That's natural.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's natural when you grow up for Dick Gregory to have the lane he had. Cosby had the lane he had. Richard had the lane he had. Eddie Murphy, lane he had. Martin Lawrence. These guys had individual lanes that they really wasn't infringing on each other. So that go to show you right there. But the powers that be will lead you to believe otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
So
the
guy that's trying to come up will say, fuck Kevin Hart. Man, fuck him. He ain't funny. Blah, blah, blah. Why? Why fuck him? What did he do? What did he do to you? If you don't like his comedy, that's cool. We all born with taste and opinions, you know what I mean, and styles and everything. But why fuck him?
Yeah, no doubt.
That's a little extreme.
Yeah.
You have money against this nigga? What the?
But there was something that you said, and you know, like I wanted to ask the question because with everything that is going on, and you're doing virtual comedy and having to adjust and like, yo, I got to put together something that I know is funny because I don't have the reaction of the crowd.
Right.
There's a lot of new comics that refuse to even do an interview or something like this, like a virtual interview, because the only way they know how to deliver a joke is with the crowd.
Yeah,
but I guess they don't got enough material like you do, being the veteran that you are. You know what to do.
It's scared, man. It's a scary thing. But I tell people all the time is that's how you grow. You got to try new shit and different shit to elevate your status. Like, because if you never do something, when that phone call comes in, what are you gonna do? You never did it. You gonna lie? You're gonna miss that opportunity. Like, same thing. Maybe we talked about the drive-up comedy, right? I witnessed that 2 weeks ago doing 4 of those shows back to back. You had people that were young and hungry that wanted that stage. The first night I did in the Bronx on Boston Road at the Royal Coach down there, and that outdoor drive-up comedy, everybody around us, all those comics from the Bronx that came, was hungry, thirsty. Then we went to Brooklyn, and it was the total polar opposite, but dude, bipolar, like it was total polar opposite, where you had 4 or 5 cats on the side, and he was like, yo, you want 5 minutes? You want 5 minutes? I don't know how it's gonna go. I don't know. Like, people were literally afraid to do it. I had to literally talk 2 cats in each night to do it, and they did well. But they were so worried because it wasn't what they were used to. I'm not used to it, but I know one thing is, like, I know me. I got the utmost confidence in me. I got first of all, I'm a real comic. I think that might be a lot to do with it too. I think when you write stuff down and you write what you think is funny versus saying what you know to be, I think that's a different confidence in it.
Yeah.
I think when you know what I mean?
You have a different kind of swagger because you have that confidence.
Like back in the day, they had snake oil salesmen. I think those guys were always nervous because I'm lying to sell this snake oil. So if somebody knows some shit, you know, I'm gonna be fucked. They're gonna catch me in a lie, and they might. I don't know what they're gonna do. They might beat me up. They might kill me, string me up, whatever. So they was always nervous and fast talking. Then you got people that's telling you the truth, and they know what they're telling you is to be true. They're not nervous at all, man. They're not nervous. The Israelites believe what the fuck they telling you. Go to 42nd Street, and they had that crowd around them, and the white people stop. Them niggas don't miss a beat because the white people listening. They go harder.
Yeah, that's true. That's so true. And for those of you who never visited NY and know
you gotta believe what it is, man.
Israelites were some serious dudes.
And you know, I think I'm hoping, because I can tell you one thing. Speaking to you today, this evening, like there's a lot of jewels you drop. A lot. I'm hoping that there's a lot of new comedians, even artists, that are out there,
right,
that will listen to this interview later, and they will sit there and take, you know, your resume, your knowledge, and what you put out there, and really put it to use. Sometimes it has to come from one of those people that you look up to, or one of those people that you idolize, to really be able to move a little different. It's different when it comes from your friends or your family. They might be saying the same thing, but when it comes from someone that is doing it, because there's a lot of people that give you advice that are not doing what you're doing. And you're like, fuck you. You don't even know what you're talking about. When's the last time you decided you wanted to make somebody laugh? you know, for 15 minutes straight, like on some real shit. But
Right.
They listen, they look at you and it's like, yo, he's been doing this for 29 plus years. He made people laugh all the time, and this is what he does, and this is what he's saying. He's like, yo, you can't be afraid, and a lot of the stuff that you hear so often throughout life when you talk to the right people, but hearing it from you is totally different.
Well, it's very simple. This is what I tell people, a bit of advice to get. If you treat what you love and what you do like being a child that get around grown folks, right? When we was young and we were children and we would be at a family reunion or a cookout or just at the house, when you got around what we call grown folks, you shut the fuck up more so you could soak up what was being said, right?
Knowledge.
So it's the same thing to apply to this. Yeah, I got 29 going on 30 years in the game. So if I got more than you, you come around me, soak up that. I have never had a problem with dropping jewels and giving the information. You know what I mean? I've never been that guy. Like, I'm never going to be that guy. However, when I go into a room and I'm in a room in a circle with cats that got 40 and 45 on me, I shut the fuck up. That's real talk. I shut up, dude, and sit back. And sometimes they try to, you know, talk to me because they fans as well. We fans of each other, and they want me to talk more. And they're wondering why, you know, why this guy that talks so much ain't talking. Is because I'm around you right now. Like right now, I need to hear some of that. Like I got 92 to this. Nigga, you got 88 to that. What was up with that? Give me some of that 88. Still making money from, still spending money from 88.
From 88. No doubt. No doubt.
And you know, and I think that that's one of the things that I miss about the generation today is that they don't know how to shut up. It's like, oh, I know it all because I Googled the shit. It's like, I Googled it, so fuck what you saying. It's like, what do you mean? Because with what you read comes experience. Like, there's experience behind all of this.
So, Talent, that's the key, man. That's the key to longevity, listening more than you talking.
Well, that's the part of comedy that most stand-up dudes don't know. That's the secret they don't know. The secret is to be a good comic, you have to listen as much as you talk. And I'm talking about on and off stage. Even when you're on stage and you talking, you want to get these jokes out of these topics or these subjects or whatever, but you're just busy talking. You're not even hearing. You'd be surprised. About 8 out of 10 comics, when they do bad, they don't even hear they do bad. You know when they know they bomb? When they get off.
Yeah.
When they get off and have real conversations, you be like, damn, I didn't think I did that bad. Yes, motherfucker, you was bombing the whole 10 minutes. Yeah. Like, what the fuck were you talking about? Like, so when you're talking, you have to listen as much as you talk. That's why I just said, remember I said, I like to arrive on time.
Yeah.
How many times cats tell me, oh, you last, man. You ain't gonna hit the stage till 10. Show's at 8. Bro, I'm there at 8. Yeah. I need to see what happens tonight. Yeah, that might change my whole trajectory and position in what I'm gonna take tonight. Yeah. I might have one plan and then something happens, this thing in comedy that I call in the moment, right? And that's another thing that with veteranship you learn. When you're young, you don't know the difference. There's a thing called in the moment. These are these things. You ever go to a show and you're watching a comedy show and something happens organic, whether the comic is snapping on somebody, he goes back and forth, he rip him, he comes up with something that becomes this big explosion of funny, right?
Yeah.
And most comics, because they're not smart enough, will say, damn, that was the biggest laugh I got. Try to take that and carry it over to other shows.
Yeah.
Never get that big explosion again. Yeah. You're looking for that first high again, and he never get it because he didn't know to differentiate that nigga that was in the moment.
Yeah.
That wasn't a funny joke. It was funny in that moment.
Right. Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you, a good comic, a veteran, is gonna decipher that and be like, yo, that was funny. But I'm not gonna play myself and try to do that. Like you get a guy with a certain sweater and you get it, and the sweater, boom. You go somewhere the next night and they got a sweater, but it ain't that sweater.
Yeah.
And the stars didn't align, and you get on the sweater and people looking at you like, what's wrong with that sweater? Now you the idiot because you couldn't separate and differentiate in the moment from a real joke that you can use again.
Right.
You know what I mean? But definitely got to listen as much as you talk on stage, a lot of us are so hell bent on getting that mic, and because that mic is power. I'm not gonna lie. That mic is power. And to whom much is given, much is expected.
Yeah.
You get that power in your hand, bro, and you do for a minute get the attention of the whole room. In those instances where everybody's stopping what they're doing to do this and listen, you better say something.
Yeah, for real.
Better say something.
You got the people's attention. Is your son still doing comedy?
Who's that?
Your son, is he still doing comedy?
Oh, my son? Yeah, my
Young
Talent Jr. Talent Jr. is 2 years in now already, man. He's beast moding. He's taking after his father where, I mean, we talk and do a little Vice thing. You know, I didn't touch him for the first year. I wanted to make sure he was serious.
Right.
And he was, and he keep going. So now he'll run stuff and bounce stuff off of me. But more importantly, his entrepreneurship and showrunner shit he picking that up. And I didn't even really have to teach him.
Right.
And he might come by the crib to get some equipment, you know, to do his thing. But the man picked that up and like it was built in him and ran with it. I'm super proud of him. You know what I mean?
That's what's up.
That's what's up. And then you leading by example. You know, and I realized, you know, I got 4 young ladies of my own. And, you know, being an entrepreneur, doing a lot of things that I do, I realized that our children watch us more than what we actually realize. And it's like, I see things and I'm like, holy crap, where did you get that from? And it's like, my daughters will be like, I learned that from watching you. And I'm like, but you was just like a little spot in the corner.
Matter.
It don't matter. It's crazy.
Don't matter.
That's everything up like a sponge.
Right. They just like, it's funny because I did so much stuff coming up as a kid that when I thought of a nice name, performance name, that's how I landed on talent. Talent actually, I landed on that before comedy and music. But I needed this name because I was doing everything. I was doing graffiti. I was breakdancing. I was in the rap group. I was playing 3 sports. You know, you was doing all of this stuff. So I was like, yo, I needed what explains all that? Talent, right? So you get this name and you go with it. And the problem is, this is something I learned maybe 10, 15 years ago, and I didn't even know it. I'm just thinking of a name, like I said, that covers all these things that I do before comedy. So I get in comedy with my same nickname. Fast forward 15 years, some of my good white comedian friends, we would just sit around drinking at a show or whatever, and you know how real shit come out, and real shit start coming out. The white dude was like, yo, man, I ain't gonna can I keep it real? I'm like, yeah, keep it real. He said, yeah, man, I remember the first time, you know, I seen your name on the list of the show. I ain't meet you yet or nothing, but I just seen the name. And I was like, who is this fucking cocky motherfucker? They got the ball, you know, white people got the balls.
The balls, yeah.
To call himself talent. And I'm sitting back like, I couldn't even say nothing for a minute because first of all, I'm processing this shit like all these years, I've never even thought of that angle. Like I've never looked from that angle like that was a possibility, but clearly in the white community it was. It was like, you know, we used to sit around and motherfuckers talking, it went from him saying it to we. Yeah, we used to sit around all the time. Ooh, the motherfucking balls on this nigga. And he's like, as time going on, you know, we had to give it to you, you know, you funny, but we just still couldn't believe. And I said, you know what's funny? I said, that goes to show you the ethnic disparities in the community. I come from a community where we brag on ourselves, especially in rap and hip hop. And, you know, we do shit that's cool. And you guys look at shit literally and verbatim all the time. Like white America, that's the fucking line down the middle. Everything's verbatim and literally. You know, I'm gonna tear that ass up. Say I'm gonna tear that ass up around a bunch of white people. Watch they freeze for a minute. Think you're gonna do some harm. Think you're gonna do some harm. No, I'm about to have sex with her.
Yeah.
You say you're gonna tear that ass up.
They don't know. They don't
even get it.
Literally and verbatim. So I'm like, oh, so you guys seen the name and took it in a literal sense, in a verbatim sense, like I'm talent. like that, and that's not. It was never like that.
Yeah.
It was just a description. That's all. Just
he's talented. Talent. My middle name is Troy, so in rap I was Talent T. And then when I got in comedy, I just dropped the T because it was no longer a hip hop situation. It was stand up, so it was just talent. But you motherfuckers are home with the balls on this motherfucker. And I know they said nigga back then. I know they said it.
Yeah, of course. You know they did.
Definitely.
I know they said it, son of a bitch.
That's what's up, brother. We almost here to the end of the show. You want to give the people your social? That's another term that they use now. Give them your social. Remember we used to say give them your social. What was your social?
1, 2, 3, 5.
Exactly.
7,
yeah, exactly.
Yo, my social media, man, that could be found on all platforms. Let me say all grown. Don't say all grown platforms. I'm not TikToking, my nigga. So you can find me on Facebook. I got 10 pages on Facebook, but the most current is NY King Talent Harris or King Talent Harris. Instagram, I'm Talent the Comedian with a DA, Talent the Comedian. On Twitter, it's at It's Just Comedy, my slogan. You know what I mean? So follow me on them 3, man. I go live every week, almost every night of the week, man. I got to go live tonight, 10:30, 11 o'clock, do my music thing. So, it's just comedy. Don't take it personal, baby. It's just comedy.
That's what it is.
And we definitely going to speak later on. I'm going to reach out to you probably in the next day or so. And we could talk some stuff outside of this. And I definitely, it was definitely, I know we it's already 8 o'clock, but I'm gonna say this. I definitely appreciate you and giving us the opportunity to
one of the New York kings of comedy
interview you, bro. Like it's some real shit. Like it took me back to. I'm telling you, I was 13 years old watching, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm watching this guy, and I can't even do that fucking sound that you make.
Booyah! Don't take it personal. It's just comedy.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Salute.
And the YouTube videos will do you no good because those shit is all grainy and shit.
Yeah.
but I remember it like it was yesterday. But
yes, sir.
And the brother still looking crisp like new money.
Hey, they opened the barbershops up, baby. I'm back. I'm back.
Definitely appreciate you, my brother.
Hey, it was definitely a stone cold blast, man. Anytime, bro. Anytime we can do this, man. You guys are stand-up guys, man. So anytime we can do this.
Yo, I appreciate you, man. We out of here.
Salute.
Salute.